Other
Hello, 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 hello. Wow, what a panel that we have here. This is the most people that we've had on in a long while. I'd like to welcome back my co-hosts, my usual co-hosts, which are Riaz Parker and Jason Ronnie. You guys doing good?
All
Excited?
good, man. All good.
Nervous?
Slightly. Very.
Tad bit nervous, yeah. Not gonna lie, eh? But let's see how it goes.
No, liquor. And then another welcome back to. This is probably the first time this season that we have Mubin back on the show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's correct. It's been a long sabbatical from my side, or on my side rather.
Okay.
Family
Busy guy.
commitments, as you all know. So yeah, hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully I
glad to have
can
you
be
back.
back a lot more often.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And then we have there's an unknown face in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen. We know him as the Butcher Man and Mr. Nando's. But yeah, this has been a long time coming. Riaz Ahmed, welcome to 343.
Shukran so much for having me on. I'm really looking forward to this. It sounds really exciting.
I'm glad to finally get you on board, and we haven't done this in a very long time. We have a newbie on the show, and what happens
Yeah.
when there's a newbie is there's a bit of an
Gosh.
icebreaker question. So
Okay.
my icebreaker to you would be, if you could pick the brain of any footballer, past or present, who would it be and why?
If I could what?
If you could pick the brain of any footballer, past or present, who would it be and why?
Well, I think for me, if I were to choose one footballer, it would be Steven Gerrard. You know, he's someone that I've always admired. I think the one thing that I'd really like to know is, you know, through the difficult times, how he kept himself motivated. How did he turn down all those big offers to stay, to believe, and what made him believe in the projects? I think, you know, he's just such an incredible player and a hero of mine that, yeah, I'd love to be able to have engage in that kind of conversation with him.
Nice one. I mean, I feel like we had a Liverpool fan on previously as well. He gave sort of a similar answer to that. So I guess it's just a testament to the type of player he was and what he meant to all the fans of Liverpool. That so many people
Yeah.
would want to pick his brain. But yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, I hope that your ride for the next hour is going to be nice and smooth. We have a Arsenal supporter here. We have a United supporter. We have 2 United supporters, and we have a Spurs supporter as well. So
The
yeah,
Spurs is just here
hopefully,
for E requirements. They just say we must put it
as they do every season.
it's just more so that we're not brought up before like HR and all those things. So please don't feel
Yeah,
threatened by him.
I'm just lurking. I'm just lurking. It's fine.
But yeah, like one of the reasons why we're doing this live right now is in just under an hour, we have Bafana Bafana playing the semi-final against Nigeria. The team sheets should be out round about now. Jason, do you perhaps have them on screen already?
I'm struggling to find it. So while we were doing intros, I'm just trying to pull it up to be ready for this, but I'm not seeing anything. All I know is that Africa's best keeper is standing. So yeah, Ronwan, shout out Ronwan always. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing any lineups anywhere online.
Okay, now
Maybe I'm not checking correctly, but
we can get there.
yeah,
We can get there.
let's go through. Yeah.
Let's actually just go ahead to speak about the result over the weekend. And I think Jason and Riaz, you guys will basically have the floor with this one, coming from each side. What did you guys think about the game? Riaz, I'll let you go first, because that was unlike a performance unlike Liverpool, if I can put it like that. They looked like a different outfit. So I'm not sure what might have happened, but from a fan's perspective, can you give us some insight, perhaps?
Yeah, I think that if I look back on the match, you know, I firstly I must compliment Arsenal for the tactics. I think if I look at when you look at Liverpool in position in that match, I think Arteta made sure that Havertz and Odegaard were almost man marking, or you know, being very close to Konate and Van Dijk, and just didn't give him space when we were in position. And then, although Declan Rice was, you know, sort of the enforcer, I think Jorginho pressed well on and marked McAllister very well. And, you know, he wasn't the pivot that he normally is in our matches. And I think when you look at in position, when we had position, that made quite a big difference. It was a risky move because I think if Jorginho was exposed, then, you know, Jones would have had a lot more space. But I think they really stuck to their task of man marking very well and pressing us very well. I do also feel that it was a bit lackluster, a bit disjointed from us. I mean, I looked at our XG at halftime, it was like 0.1. I'm like, oh, God, I can't believe it. It was crazy. And I think full time was like 0.4, 0.5 or something ridiculous like that. Even when Arsenal was in position, I thought Martinelli played really well, you know, pulling Trent. I think he always plays well against Trent, to be honest. Yeah. So it was just very disappointing. You know, I was really, when we went 1-1, and I think when the second half started, we started really well in the second half.
Yeah.
And I honestly couldn't see Arsenal. I had a feeling I can't see Arsenal scoring. And I could feel us building a bit of confidence, but obviously the mistake happened and the momentum just changed, you know. So yeah, it was just a bit disappointing from the.
Yeah, and I guess it was also a game of, I wouldn't put it as defensive frailties, but yeah, like there were times when the defenders looked out of sync with each other, and that's like it happened to Arsenal as well, with that mix-up at the end of the first half that basically gave Liverpool some newfound life, as you would put it in the match. So yeah, like it's not that like it was just Liverpool that weren't themselves, but like stuff like that. I can't imagine Arteta would have gone into halftime thinking, okay, now that was great, guys. You'd probably be lambasting the players for being so lackluster and complacent, rather. Jason, anything from your side?
Yeah, no. So I think we can agree that in recent history, Liverpool have been giving it to Arsenal. We've been doing very well for certain points, and then we run them close. And I think it's been the history with Arsenal recently against all of the big teams. City, Liverpool, those guys. So I only named 2 teams. I don't really fear the other lot. But yeah, we've done very well up until a point, and then we just can't seem to capitalize on it. And then all of that pedigree comes through second half. So normally Liverpool finishes us off, and it's generally. Previously, it used to be Mane, it used to be Firmino, and recently it's been Diego Jota. So going to the game, I'm like, if we have another one of those games like that FA Cup game where we create bucket loads of chances and then they just finish off with 2 quick ones, I don't think I would have possibly survived it. I was pleasantly surprised. The first half was, I think it was very close to something that I like to see. Still the same silly errors, complacent errors, and I think, yeah, it's not the Liverpool team that we expected to see. It's not the Liverpool team that we've grown used to seeing. But, yeah, I'm happy with the overall performance from Arsenal. It was nice to watch. And then in these big games, sometimes when there's so much quality, it comes down to either a moment of sheer brilliance or sort of silly errors, which we saw in the first half. Arsenal gave it back. Liverpool suddenly got in where before they looked like they didn't have anything. Second half, they started very well, and then Liverpool gave us something back. And then it was just about managing sort of those phases, and I think Arsenal managed to do that well. Yeah, it was nice to come out of that win. It felt like it was a good step after a very torrid Christmas period where we gave up points very easily to teams that we don't normally give up. So I think I was looking back, and I think Fulham took 4 points off us out of 6, and that was frustrating, right? Then it was West Ham as well, and I think we have West Ham coming up this weekend. So, yeah, to finally be able to get to a certain point in a game and then actually push on and beat those big teams was very nice. But I think it just blows the whole title race open now, and I think it makes it exciting. Well, even more exciting, rather. It just shows that on its day, any team can cause, I wouldn't say upset, but yeah, any team can swing that sort of momentum that one team might have developed. So yeah, it was good. Maybe some of the neutrals can give some of their input. Bafana.
Yeah, all I know is since a young lad by the name of Jason Ronnie returned from the UK over the Christmas period, the results have seem to have gone back in Arsenal's favour.
Yeah.
Because while he was there, it wasn't great at all.
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment too much on the game, but more just on the league itself, maybe the top 4 and the title race, and just to latch onto what you said there at the end. It's refreshing to see after quite a few seasons that the title race is open, that there are more than sort of 2 teams in contention. Where we're now sort of almost mid-Feb. Where teams are still in contention to win the league. I mean, if you go back, usually by Christmas, there's sort of one team that's already run away. So it's refreshing, not from a neutral perspective, but from someone that enjoys watching the Premier League, that the competition is sort of still stiff, and I know there's clubs in it still that can win the league.
Yeah. So I'm just going to pass this over to Riaz Parker. Like coming from a supporter or a fan of a club that was like, the Spurs looked quite good in the first third of the season. Like they looked quite confident, and they looked resilient. Like they were grinding out those victories, like in the dying minutes so many times. But I just caught the highlights of the game against Everton this past weekend, and we spoke about complacency with all these other teams, and it just felt like there was a little bit of that creeping in with Spurs as well?
Are we talking about the Spurs game now? Okay. I suppose so. I mean, as much as we got the late goals to win the games, we've also been conceding late goals to lose games. So I think it's just been up and down for us throughout the season. Like the Wolves game, we conceded 2 in extra time, and it's been a very topsy-turvy season for us. Even though, yeah, we had a good start to the season and we're doing pretty well. I mean, the new manager came in, he's changed the philosophy of the football club. We lost the best striker in the world, and we expected a drop-off, but we've been doing a lot better than a lot of people thought. So overall, I think we've been doing still really well. And I think also the injuries hampered us a lot. So the mentality of maybe the guys coming in hasn't been as good as maybe our starting 11 would be. So I think that's where the drop-off occurs as well in terms of complacency and things like that. And yeah, I think just overall, I think if we have a consistent team that we can put out a similar 11 every week, because at the end of the day, also this weekend when the subs came on, we were a different team as well. When we changed the team, Kulusevski and someone else, I think Skip came on, and Kulusevski was the one I think to make the foul for the set piece, and we were under problems, like they were causing us problems from set pieces, from corners, and from free kicks the whole game. I think also Vicario is now starting to get a bit too big for his boots. He needs to level out a little bit. And that's maybe down to, I don't know, I don't want to say ego, but he just needs to come down to the level that he was, the humbleness that he was in the beginning, where he was just making saves, going about his business. So I think once that levels out, because now people are putting him under pressure. We've seen now in 3 weeks, in 3 games now, that teams are targeting the keeper because of that silly rule change, or I wouldn't say rule change, but the rule exposure, I guess, of the keepers, that people are allowed now to stand on the keeper per se and interrupt them or stop them from coming for crosses and things like that. So yeah, it could be seen as complacency, but I think also the mentality of the players, as a squad, is not completely there yet, but that'll come with time, I think.
Jason, you have anything?
Yeah, no, I think we've alluded to it at the start of the season that Spurs is a team in transition. So while they have good periods, they have very good periods, and it looks very good. They are going to have these moments where it's going to be up and down. I think as an Arsenal fan, I can speak from first-hand experience of how suddenly Emre pulled the team together and it looked lovely, and we went on like a 22-game unbeaten streak or something like that. But when the wheels fall off, sometimes it looks very dramatic and it looks very like it's a be-all, end-all thing. But it's just about riding the first season, riding that wave. Let him figure out his team. I mean, you lose Harry Kane in the summer and you build your team around sort of Son, but also around more of a team effort. And then you lose Son to Asia Cup. You lose some of the other big guys as well. And you have to make a lot of adjustments. And I think Spurs, whilst they don't have the best squad, they've been managing very well with what they have and with who they have. So now, yeah, I think Son's out of the Asia Cup, so he now comes back. I don't think he's probably going to take a break. He's going to come straight back in, and it'll be good. It's a good time for you guys to get him back as well. It's very crunch time where teams that are maybe above you are playing a lot more games. So it's now just you guys focusing on every weekend, just getting the 3 points, grinding it out, whether it's ugly, whether it's not. It's getting European football back in whatever shape or form that is. So yeah, it's not about how you win it. It's just that you do, and it can be ugly, but as long as you get the 3 points at the end of the day, it's all good.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, though. I think that the problem is that we're not really sure how to grind out the wins. Like when we're ahead late on, we're not sure how to kind of, like you say, grind out the win. So that part has been difficult, but that'll come with experience from the players and things like that, the mentality. Hopefully, the more used to the used to Ange's game they get, the more I think they'll be able to adjust and kind of grind out the game. So we'll see how it goes, I guess, in the seasons and the games to come.
I've had teams say, sorry man, just okay, no, finish this and then we can go to teams. I've managed to find teams now, so it's actually
okay. Now you can go ahead. Let's talk about the team.
Yeah, let's just talk about it briefly. Okay, so we're going to go with Nigeria's team first. So they're going with Nwabali as keeper, Calvin Bassey, Ajay Ekong, I think it's Ola Aina, They got Osai, Onyeka, Iwobi, and then a front three of Lookman, Osimhen, and Simon. Very good team. For South Africa, we got Ronald Williams. We got Madao right back, Kekana and Vala centre back, Modiba left back, Mukwena, Sianda Kulu, and Sitole playing in the midfield. And then up front, we've got Percy Tau, Evidence Magope, and Temba Zwane. So I think, I'm not quite sure. I can't quite remember whether that's a team that finished the game or at least started the game against Cape Verde, but I think it's a very strong.
Definitely not didn't start. That seems more of a 4-3-3, and Sianda Kulu didn't start.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so it looks like he's playing.
I think there was an injury. I think somebody got ruled out of the tournament this morning.
The centre back.
Okay, I'm just checking now. Let me see who is injured. But I think it's a very strong team. I think it's a team that can compete with Nigeria. But also, when you look at Nigeria's team, right? So on paper, this team should beat South Africa. But I think we on a current wave that we just need to ride it here. I'm not sure, Riaz. Do you have thoughts on the AFCON so far?
Well, I think if I look at this is one fixture that I'm a bit stressed out about. I was checking out, like, we played Nigeria 11 times, I think. They've won 6 times. We've only won once against Nigeria. And for me, it's such a big hurdle, to beat Nigeria. For me, I just think, but there's something about this moment of this team right now and where we're at right now. There's a level of confidence, I think, that we've gotten Bafana right now that I don't think we've had before. And I don't know. We haven't had it for a long time. Absolutely, And I think this is a great time to play Nigeria right now. As much as stressed out as I am, with that stats and with that history between the two countries, I do think that I don't know. I just got a feeling that this is a great opportunity for these players to really show up, and with Ronald being in that form right now, it gives us that confidence at the back as well. You know what I mean? So, I'm just flipping holding thumbs and everything right now. You know what
I mean? I honestly hope that, Ronald Williams, that quarterfinal penalties, all those saves that he made. I mean, it was insane. The guy made history also while doing it, and that's definitely going to fill him with so much confidence for this game. But I also don't want to be too optimistic. So I don't want to have the mindset or the mentality that we did what we did against Morocco, and everybody thought that Morocco would be the favorites for this tournament. So I'm trying to go with the mindset that we're taking this game and we're going to play it 10 minutes by 10 minutes. So take it as it comes. Don't get too overconfident, and just play the game and have fun out there.
Yeah, I think from my side, going in any tournament, I'm sure most of us have played in tournaments, whichever sporting code it is. You want to get that bad game out of the way early on in a tournament, preferably in the group stage. That obviously didn't happen in South Africa's case because they qualified quite convincingly. But the Cape Verde was probably the worst performance of the tournament out of all the games for them. But that being said, I am quietly confident. Like Ria said, there's some feeling with Bafana and also what has happened in other sporting codes over the last 6 months or so, or the box with Trikus. Unfortunately, the Proteas didn't, make the final of the cricket. But
Tyler won a Grammy,
and there was a Grammy a couple of weeks ago. I think they will be quietly optimistic. I think the camp will be quietly optimistic, and if they can hold their own in the first 45 and go in without conceding, that will be great guns. If they can manage to nab a goal on the counter and go in at 1-0 that will obviously be great. But to go in at halftime 0-0, I think that would be great. And then obviously just take it 10 minutes by 10 minutes at the second half. But I'm definitely very, very optimistic for this evening.
I'm nervous.
If I can just say something again, I just
go
also
ahead.
get a feeling that, like, I don't know, for some reason in this tournament, I don't feel like we're caught in the moment of the pressure of the tournament. I
Yes.
feel that they
Yeah.
feel playing a bit more freer,
Yes.
than in previous tournaments that we have qualified for.
Yeah.
I'm sensing that, when you look at this team and the squad, it's gone very much under the radar and just playing every game as it comes. And that's a great approach, to not have that pressure on them. I think it's good. Now, as the tournament progresses, like now to get to the semi-final, one hopes that doesn't now start building. But I love the fact that, you feel that they're not playing with that weight on their shoulders, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
We have Daniel October, Jason, saying South Africans and winning. Name a more iconic duo.
Yeah, that's actually very fair. That's very fair. I think.
Can you comment on that? Because I would like to say Danielle and Jason.
Yeah, that is also
Wow.
another iconic duo. And we stay winning. But I think it's probably one of the best times as a South African sporting code right now, or just the SA sports is riding high. And okay, we've got Tyler that won a Grammy as well. It's moving in a place where I think we're like, okay, previous years people were so hard on like Bafana because I think we had a golden crop and we needed to win with that. And I think it's similar to like maybe Belgium, where they've had the best players that their countries produce in one period and they've won absolutely nothing. Right now, I think they've almost bought into the idea that, okay, people's not expecting much from Bafana because we haven't been able to do anything. We hardly make AFCONs. I mean, since we won it 1996, we hardly made after that. So it's a great time right now. And I have to agree. We're playing with this, like, it's not a matter of if, but just a matter of when. And there's this sturdy belief that, okay, if it's not going to happen now, we'll outlast them. Or if it comes to penalties, we have Ronwin who's done. And okay, that's not to say during the game Ronwin's not saving us, because I think in that Cape Verde game in the last minute or something, he made an unbelievable save and he tipped the ball into the crossbar, I think, which could have possibly won it for them. So in the key areas, we have all of the key players, and I think we'll get luckier if we just keep progressing into that final third. It's just getting us into that area, which maybe sometimes becomes a bit of an issue. But if we're in that space, I think Percy Tau and Evidence Magope reminds me of somebody that's like, he's not somebody that everybody knows about, but if you put the ball there, the guy will finish. It's like, okay, no fuss about him, nothing major about him like that. But put a chance there and it seems like he finishes. I think we saw that in that Morocco game, if I'm not mistaken.
Right place, right time. He knows what he needs to do.
Right time. Enough composure to then just finish it off. So,
we need a public holiday.
100%. And one that doesn't fall close to another public holiday. Give me one like a random day, man. Can you just take off leave like on a Tuesday or something like that?
Yeah, like we don't have a February public holiday, so this will actually this will be liquor, to be honest. Yeah, let's have it. Let's have it. Riaz Parker, what are your feelings about this game? If you have anything to contribute,
Riaz only watches if
might be.
Nicky van der Ven plays for South Africa.
He's angry because as Basuma got knocked out in the quarters.
Oh, not at all, not at all. I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and I'm going to be like, look, when you read that team sheet to me now, I got a bit shocked because I didn't realize how many Premier League players are actually in the Nigerian team, or players that are like Osimhen,
European-based, European-based
players, which is crazy. I mean, I think 9 out of the 11 players, or 8 out of the 11 players you mentioned are European players, which is craziness.
Yeah.
So I feel like on the flip side, though, if we are going to be able to get a result today, the belief in the team will be super high. Like we will go and win the final. We'll believe that we can go and win the final. But I think Mobini is right. I think that going into halftime without conceding is going to be super important. I think that because we can nick a goal whenever, like you said, a striker is he knows where to be, he knows how to pick up the pieces, and I feel like if we can just keep a clean sheet, like we did in the previous game, which was super important, even though we didn't really score, we got through it at the end of the day, and anything can happen on penalties. But I think keeping a clean sheet for the first half and nicking a goal in the second, I think is the way it's going to go. Hopefully.
If I can again say something, that I think the one thing we cannot underestimate is, that Sundowns winning mentality that's also running through the team.
Yeah.
And it's like they've been in some big matches at club level before. They've won big trophies at club level before. And I think, you get the Premier League players, European players, but for them, they've been in big match situations and they've come out on top. And although Bafana as an entity, might be an unknown force, underdog, but I mean, if you look at what some of those players has been through at club level, that experience will really bode them well in a match situation like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's proven that so far as well.
Yeah, you can pick that up from like the chemistry that the players have. You can see that they play together 365. So, I mean, they're all on the same wavelength more often than not. And that's something special to have in an international team, or in a national team, sorry. Because normally you play for your club and then you get sent to your national team. And more often than not, you're the only guy there that's like you haven't been playing with these guys at all. So you're coming from different parts of the globe, and it's literally just trying to like mix these ingredients together in the space of like 2 weeks or something. So the fact that South Africa can do what they've done with majority of the team coming from Sundowns, and I think there's like 2 or 3 of them from Pirates, that it speaks for itself, and you can see the type of football that we are playing as a result of it.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah, so just to move on from the AFCON, before we end off, this should have actually come before the AFCON. We should have ended off with the AFCON. But a team that we thought was sort of finding their way in the Premier League is suddenly looking, I don't know what better way to put it than garbage. Yeah. I don't know what's happening with Chelsea. I saw this morning the Poch out was trending. Apparently it was trending for the past couple of days. Jason, do you have any sort of idea of what is happening over at the bridge?
I'd say bring back Mourinho, and with that comes Ricardo Carvalho. I don't know. I think he has too many players at his disposal, and he can't quite fine tune what his exact best first 11 is. I've always had a little asterisk next to his name. So whilst he was able to take Spurs all the way to the final in that Champions League year, if you can't win anything with a team of Messi, Mbappe, Neymar as your front three, and you have Verratti and you have Marquinhos and you have all that in the League One, which isn't. It's not a farmers league, even though it gets that rep quite a bit. It's a really good league. But if you can't do that with probably the best players in that league, then it kind of puts a thing. So now I'm wondering if, I'm wondering if the whole setup with Todd Bowley and that whole corporation that now runs it, if that's filtered down to the team and it's just so dysfunctional that Poch actually, I don't think he realized the magnitude of how broken that club is from a top level down. I said that they look good in bits and parts, and that's fine. That's the first season. But the problem we have is I don't think they can sign any more players. They've got guys like, I'm hearing Enzo's rumored to be leaving. He's on a death row record contract. He's 8 years. He's first 6 months into his 8-year sentence. And I think almost about 70% of the players are on the same contract.
Yeah, I think we spoke about that early on in the season, saying that it's going to come back to bite him in the butt sometime.
Yeah.
and it's already happening now.
It's just, yeah, I think if you manage expectations now, you have such a big squad, and they've done that American system where I think they've picked up players that have good value or that will have good value in the future. But how those players get to good value and get to good form is if you play them. But you have a guy starting 2 or 3 games, then suddenly he's out, and you have somebody else that you forgot was at Chelsea playing for 2 or 3 games. And these are guys that were starters in top 5 European clubs, and they now just come to sit on the bench. It's actually a bit worrying for a Chelsea fan. I don't really care for them. I have a few friends that are Chelsea fans. Love them as people, hate their choice in team. It's a bit concerning, but yeah, it's just like I don't see it changing anytime soon, and I'm here for it. Actually,
I mean,
absolutely here for it.
Look, you need to give Pochettino some time. To be honest with you, it's one season,
Yeah.
and like you said,
Wait, Riaz, are you speaking with your brain right now or with your heart?
maybe a
That's
little
what I
bit of
wanna
both.
know.
Are you reading from your journal, or is this your thoughts right now? Just let us know, please.
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. Okay. Let's start off with business, right? I don't think
Yeah.
Chelsea can sack the manager because of the FFP situation or something
Yeah.
like that. They can't pay out another manager because of the FFP situation. They're going to drop more points, and that might get them actually relegated this season. So I don't think
Yeah.
they can do it. Firstly, secondly, the problem is that exact thing. I think with having so many players, Pochettino is someone who is able to mold players and put them in a system that can work over a long period of time. So whether why it won't work in the beginning, or it doesn't seem to work in the beginning, but I think how he does it is because he couldn't, like you say with PSG, he couldn't really win the league or whatever the case may be. Maybe that's not the type of manager he is. Maybe he is the manager that's going to take the youngsters through and make them better, basically, which is what Chelsea needs. So that's why they appointed him, I'm assuming. So the problem there is there's too many youngsters that need game time to improve. And I think that's the main issue, because at the moment, like you say, he's playing like the youngsters. They play 2 games and then they have to sit on the bench for 2 games, and then the next week they out of the whole squad altogether, because there's so many players that needs game time that come in for like a space of 2 games, and that messes up with the consistency of the team. At the end of the day, they don't. You can't fit. You can have a system of the team, yes, but if you're going to chop and change the players every week, they're not going to have consistency at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the main problem currently. I think that if they want Mourinho back in, which someone suggested now in the chat, it's not a bad get. I mean, I don't think Mourinho is if he doesn't adjust his management style or his style of play, he's no longer the manager he used to be. He's still a great manager, I'll say that, and I think he can still win stuff, but I don't think that he can against people like Klopp and or Klopp is leaving, Klopp or Pep at the end of the day. If I think Pochettino should have at least another half a season or just maybe 10 games of the next season, just to see what happens, and then take it from there. Unfortunately, they're going to have to come to the realization that they are trash now and they're not going to finish in the top 10. That's unfortunate, but they have to accept that and then trust in the process and take it from there, because other than that, they have no choice. They can't sack the manager. They've done it plenty of times before and it hasn't helped them. So trust in this type of manager, and then when it's time for him to go, or it's time for him to it's time for you to sack him, even if you want to, you can sack him and bring him in a manager who wins stuff. But at the moment, I think Pochettino is perfect for the job still, even if they're playing crap football.
Yeah, like I'm just going to go back to what you said about consistency in the terms of players that are available to him. I personally think, and I didn't think this at the starting of the season, but when they made Reece James captain, that has suddenly become a hindrance to them, because the moment he comes back from injury, he's immediately back into the starting lineup. And then he plays one game, maybe 1.25 games, and then he's injured again. So I mean, the fact that your captain keeps on like getting injured, I think Reece James isn't going to be at Chelsea much longer. Same like Wesley Fofana. I forgot that he still plays with him, by the way.
Also injury prone.
And yeah, like I mean, somebody like Conor Gallagher, he's
Also gonna leave.
he's probably going to leave, but he's the captain in absence, and Ben Chilwell as well. But I think Conor Gallagher has the characteristics of a captain, and he always gives his all. And we spoke about this a few weeks ago about how underrated he is and how he falls under the radar. And I mean, like, he doesn't want to prove it. He just wants to get on with his game. But like, if he's actually captain of the club, there can be something that he can suggest moving forward. But yeah, it goes down to that consistency of the players that are available to Pochettino. And right now, Chelsea it's like a yo-yo team. They'll get a certain team out this week and then a completely different team out next week.
And that's exactly the problem at the end of the day, because I think that you made a great point there. I forgot about that. The captaincy is a massive thing on the field. And I mean, if you have a good captain that's going to play every week and put in the yards, then you can lift it. It lifts a team. Like we saw with Jordan Henderson, he not single-handedly, but he took Liverpool to the title because of his leadership skills. So you can see there, a captain makes a massive difference to the team. And when you have a captain, if you're going to name the captain like Reece James, who is going to get injured all the time, and if you're going to let Gallagher be the standing captain who isn't going to play every week, I mean, as good as he is, even if we think he's underrated, he's still not going to play every week, because they have Caicedo, they have Enzo, and they have Palmer, they have Chukwuemeka, they have all these players that play in the same position that all needs to get given game time. How can the captain inconsistency then it changes again to Thiago Silva? Then he captains 1 week. Then both Thiago Silva and Gallagher doesn't play. Then who captains the team? Sterling, Chilwell. I mean, even the captaincy armband goes around from player to player, which doesn't make sense to me. And I think that's the problem, the consistency at the end of the day.
Thiago Silva's wife tweeted that it's time for change. I don't know if you guys saw that.
But I think that's good. Actually going to go play striker because they can't score goals. I
don't have much to add, but I think last season, I mean, I think Tuchel was in the same position. I mean, they signed players left, right, and center. Consistent team changes. You can't get momentum and build week in, week out without having to give that many players game time. It just it doesn't work. It doesn't work in any team sport. And I mean, they've actually gone 10 steps back to me personally from last season. I think Tuchel's a brilliant manager, but it is what it is. Rather Chelsea than United, but that's a can of beans that we're not going to open right now.
Yeah, no United talk today, please. Thank you.
Yeah, from my point of view, I'm gonna talk Chelsea up. We're playing them in the League Cup final. They're a great team. I'm not gonna say anything bad about Chelsea.
Forever. At least till the end of Carabao competition.
Exactly. So I'm gonna say they got a good team and everything's fine. But in all seriousness, though, I wonder about the owner, how much players he actually bought and how much players the manager actually wanted, and what players he might have wanted in certain positions. And I can't actually blame Pochettino. I don't know if I'm not saying he's the best manager, but I mean, if you look at what he's done with Spurs and Southampton, he absolutely had the opportunity to take players, as you mentioned, Riaz. He took players to a different level, and these are young set of players. But how many of these players are actually his players? I don't know. To me, it just seemed like, they were just signing players. The owner was sort of on a flight of fancy, or felt maybe he knew. I don't know. It was just a bit weird to me, that point. And that's always problematic. And when do you hold the manager accountable for these signings? So
yeah. I just want to add with Riaz's comment now that he doesn't want to speak badly about Chelsea. If we recall, Jose Mourinho was fired just before a cup final. it would be poetic for him to be hired just before a cup final as well, and then actually just win it.
The same cup
No,
final.
don't say that. Don't say
Yeah.
that. No,
Cup
don't
final.
say that.
I don't think Riaz wants that. But also, if that's anything that Jose is going to do, it's going to be that. If he by
Yeah.
some long shot, he only has 2 days, right, to prepare a Chelsea team. And if any of the stories are correct, but I prepped Benny McCarthy for that semi-final, or that match against United, quarterfinal, whatever it is. I 100% backing to see like the best performance we'll ever see from like Enzo. And like I said, it'll be I don't think it will happen. I think Poch stays just because, I don't think Chelsea's going to break FFP just to have to pay him out like 10 mil or something like that. But it's they're going to have to do stock take, right? They're going to have to line them up at the end of the season and even the start of like pre-season. And maybe they must extend their changing room and make it bigger because all of the players coming back from loan as well. They're gonna have like they could form 2 or 3 clubs or 2 or 3 teams, and that's full squads, like 25 to 30 player squads.
That's
and
crazy.
then figure out what that, and just play like a Hunger Game style game, and you just put them all on, and you see the last 11
Who wants it more?
or
Who wants it more?
that are left, right? Those are the guys that you take to war for the rest of the season, and you'll see the Reece James, Ben Chilwell, they'll be out first round injury.
No, I think Mudryk goes. He's first in the firing line.
Mudryk
he can't
evades
play himself.
everything because he's the Ukraine Bolt. So whilst everybody's strapped, he just runs away. That's all that he has good for him at this moment in time. But I think give him a season. Give him a season and then give him another preseason, and let's see. If after then you have to get rid of him, then get rid of him. But for now, ride the wave and just realize it's part of the process.
Yeah. No, I think that is a great way to end off the show. Thank you for that, Jason. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much, Riaz, for finally gracing us with your presence over here. And what a time it was as well, seeing that it was a live. Imagine that, you guest starring and your first appearance is a live.
Oh my gosh.
What a legend.
We only roll out the red carpet for the special guest, right?
No, don't say that. Don't say that. No, it's really been a blast, man. I really appreciate you having me on. It was amazing fun. Also to meet all of you guys as well. So.
Likewise. So Riaz, if the people want to talk footy with you or chat footy with you, where can they find you on social media?
Well, I'm on Twitter at Riaz Ahmed, but only the content does get a bit hectic sometimes, though. So just be careful.
People love controversy, so
the spicy content is the best content. Mubin, where can the people find you on social media?
I'm not on social media anymore. I'm a father now. Man.
At Bafana.
Yeah, Bafana. No, I'm on Instagram. At Mubin Ahmed with 2 E's, 2 3's for E's. And Facebook, Mubin Ahmed.
Rolling back the years,
Rolling it back like Bafana's gonna roll it back this evening to 96.
You're on the 96 vibes, bro. I'm telling you, it's on.
Riaz, where can the people find you?
I would love to usually say what Mupin just said and say that I don't have social media, but I don't have the dad excuse. So I'm just you can find me on Instagram at Parker_, at RiazParker7 on Instagram and at Parker_Riaz on Twitter as well.
And we're still waiting for him to sign up to Threads.
I told you, I don't really have social media. I don't really have it.
You must send the debt collectors there or something, man. Just people that the whole time, just spam him.
Jason, where can the Oaks find you on social media?
The socials at Jason_Ronnie. That's X, that's Instagram. I'm on Threads as well at Jason_Ronnie, and then TikTok at Sportycast. I'll say that's mine, but it's ours. So please give us a like, please give us a follow. Yeah.
Your WhatsApp number?
I'm gonna leave it in the chat. If you guys want to check out that.
I am AF Parker 642, as you can see over here, on all social medias. And yeah, we are at Sporticast everywhere: Instagram, X, Threads, TikTok, you name it. We are there. Come and support us. Come chat with us. Interact with us. We are always open and happy to have discussions about any sport code. And yeah, as you are watching here, yes, you right here, tap that like button, tap that subscribe button, and yeah, just like share our channel, share our pages with your family, with your mom, with your mom's dog, with your dog's cousin. Just share it with everybody, and yeah, we appreciate it so much.
We
Thank
did
you
dog
once
content
again.
with Chelsea today, so the dogs will,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a low blow.
He's not
Yeah,
wrong though.
thanks to everybody for coming through. It's about 10 minutes until kickoff, so best of luck to Bafana. We are all behind you, and yeah, I'm a 4-3-4-3. Peace.